What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord Dr. Professor Dark Joker here with another edition of Traditional Fans with Opinions, where I'll give my reviews for whoever I watched, read, or played today. And who are Traditional Fans with Opinions? That is myself, and that is you, the viewers. With all that being said, on with the reviews. Digimon Beatbreak episodes 27 and 28. So these episodes, 27, Digimon called Mummymon is able to uses his abilities to like make people like obsessed with I guess whoever they look at. So you have so what they having so basically you have like the girl who Tomoro's like friends with that he helped like save her a while back. Basically she becomes like in she's basically forcibly made be into Tomoro. And Tomoro doesn't notice what the whole deal is. Now, what's funny is that you know, what's funny? So Reina notices it, and so he she and Makoto like follow Tomoro and the girl. And then the girl like recovers randomly. Then the whole Mummymon stuff passes on to Tomoro, and he basically becomes obsessed with Geckomon. And then Reina and Makoto get affected, and Reina gets obsessed with Pristimon. Makoto gets obsessed with Chirotmon. Then Kyo gets obsessed with Cougarmon. And so everyone gets obsessed with their Digimon, and so they're able to recover, and basically they're able to corner Mummymon. And it's revealed that basically Mummymon was abandoned by his human partner 3 years before this, and basically had a twisted sense of twisted view of love. But basically everyone's able to be free. Then Mummymon's defeated and basically return back to its base form. And yeah, so then with 28, this looks like to be the start of the next big arc. So obviously tax is done. You had so and so basically now you have so basically this deals with a serial killer. Yes, Digimon is dealing with a serial killer. Now, the killer puts voodoo dolls in these Sapotama packages to target victims. So the killer's bonded with Jokermon. And so some of the designs for the killer and the Digimon have, there's some comparisons to Harley Quinn, the Joker. And so Tomoro randomly comes across a girl named Miharu Kagamori. Um, Apparently she knows about Digimon. She's very mysterious how she appears, very cryptic in how she says things, and she tells Tomoro they'll meet again. And so, Glowing Dawn's trying to protect, the kill from the from the killer. So, and then you have this one guy who gets associated with the World Union, whatever. And basically so and then yeah, so basically this so the character this guy's basically he says transporting some hazardous materials. Now Kyo is suspicious, but basically they were told to well do it. And so yeah, and then so so they're able to Glowing Dawn's able to defeat Jokermon who returns to its base form, and the killer is captured. Now the guy who they were protecting ends up well, the official story is he killed himself, but basically it's implied that no, he was murdered, with Miharu being involved with his death. And it seems like there's some Digimon, some villain who's trying to guess free Digimon because it's revealed that so it was not hazardous materials that are being transported. It was Digimon. So basically, the world union where it was capturing Digimon, taken to some facility somewhere. The way it's framed seems like it's for some evil purposes. So yeah, we don't like, and yeah. So this got pretty dark. Like this is definitely a dark episode. And thing is with the voodoo on it, it makes it look like I don't know if it's actual blood on it or if it's just it was stitched to where red was stitched onto where it looks bloody. Yeah, definitely something's going on. Yeah. But dude, that is like it's like this is definitely one of the darkest Digimon episodes, like period, that I at least that I've seen. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen some of like the old ones, like like you know, Frontiers, Tamers, Adventure. It's been a long time since I last seen those, so I can't remember how dark those got. Hopefully there's. I mean, I don't pirate stuff, so don't really have a way to watch a subbed version that I'm aware of. But like I mean, Crosswords got dark some. It did get dark. It's like you have. I mean, Digimon they basically reincarnate, so death is a little different. But you had like a few occasions of blood being drawn, not much. And Ghost Game, you did like was it that egg Digimon like 8 people? Like, dude, like I remember that. Like Ghost Game could get dark sometimes. But this might be one of the darkest Digimon episodes I've watched, if not the darkest. Like, holy crap! Like 28 is definitely dark. 27, not it's more humorous. 27 was very humorous. I mean, a Mummy Mon. Yeah, we've had Mummy Digimon before, but dude, 28, holy crap! Like, so honestly, with tactics, it definitely showed there's some dark stuff going on within the World Union, whatever. 28 looks like he's gonna get really into that. So probably like well, at least like the this arc, which looks to be called the Gift arc. Now I don't know how long this will go because I don't know how long this show's gonna go. But dude, like these were good episodes. Like holy crap! Like these are actually pretty good episodes. So yeah, I thought this. I thought these were really good. This arc looks like it could be really good arc. So yeah, I like these episodes. Looking forward to the next one. Some of the Brave episodes 14 and 15. So in these episodes, so Malta tells Yashiro and his group that basically that the priest of the church that basically Yashiro's group came across like basically the priest turned to like an inn for braves and mercenaries. So the guy who was sniping them was a brave named Magic Bullet Tetsu, and the priest is revealed to be a guy named Father Ayashima, who's a serial killer wanted by the police. And Yashiro says he'll share the room with the girls, basically for safety reasons. And that's proven to be a safe bet when there's traps found in the room. And Yashiro explains that I guess King Rob's gonna be hosting a autograph session. So he says he tries to prepare for like a card game competition. Now the card game is called Medallion. Now Yashiro's poor at, and so basically all the girls try and learn the game. And Malta explains that the Nephilim are produced by the Venusian Veil Count. So he invites, Yasha's group to join a raid organized by Star Charts to, I guess, go after the guy. And now Star Charts, I guess, is another demon lord. And apparently he's very young. He looks very young for someone who has been a demon lord for over 50 years. And Jogamine's suspicious but can't tell what's going. But she, even with her mind reading abilities, can't figure out what's going on. Like why she's suspicious. And basically, apparently, Star Chart sends messages to other demon lords, predicting there's gonna be some thunderstorms coming. And so Yashiro's team for the raid includes, the three girls, Malta, Tetsu, a recon guy named Shikizaki. Let's see, Hada, Soya, Kumaishi, and I guess Kumaishi's older sister Higa. Uh, Onoda, Sugi, a pilot named Hada Kayama, and a communications guy named Kido. So they head towards, Venusian Vale's castle, and Star Chart takes out Star Chart's defenses. And so with that, you have the actual raid starts, and like so there, and that's basically everyone attacks like the Vale's like fortress, and then and yeah, so basically everyone Yasho is grouped. They're fighting through all the various defenses. And then, Yashiro fight a Lord cracking sacred map. And he's able to like use his ether perception abilities to like basically like predict their moves. And so yeah, so basically like the fights going, then they're able to find like the I mean like so they're able to find like so Yashiro group's able to find the Nephilim. And then you have a whole bit where so you have like a brave who looks like a little girl is like approaching like basically some of the thugs, and then yeah, and basically she's able to like I guess defeat a bunch of them. But yeah, so and you see like all the braves and mercenaries fight off the demon lords like guy like thugs, and yeah, so you see the fights and yeah, it's actually pretty like so yeah, I thought these are good episodes. So yeah, you see like how this fight's going on, basically to all out brawl this fortress. And yeah, so I thought these were you know, good episodes, like the combat, you know, interesting some of the new characters that were introduced. But yeah, I thought these were good episodes. Looking forward to the next one. Daemons of the Shadow Realm, episodes 3 and 4. So in these episodes, so Yuru, Dara, Hannah, left and right, stop at a rest stop. And so Yoru has to get used to like the modern world. And so Dara's idea is for him and Hannah, like basically since his cover is below, Dara's cover is below, so he has to find covers. Dara's idea is for him and Hannah to pretend to be a married couple with Yoru as their child, so that they can like hide. And Hannah's concerned about that because she wants to be the dude that looks like Jason Statham. And basically, Derek explains why it kind of has to be both of them because I guess if it's just one, that can invite some suspicions from neighbors or whatever. And so Yoru asks left and right if Asa's story was true, and so left and right say they couldn't really see much of what went on inside the village. They say they saw like Yoru's parents leave with Asa years ago, and so the group leads the rest stop. And so Derek explains that the Kagamori clan, they're basically they're like villagers who left the village in order to live in the modern world, and they're like so. Darren and Hannah are also amongst those, but they're not Kagamori. So left and right explain that Yoru and Asa are twins who divide day and night. Basically, they're prophesied to bring like great upheaval to the world, and basically it's been like I think it was like 400 years since the last pair of twins to do that, and there's like a bunch of like people fighting over the twins like back in the like the previous time. So now there's a bunch of people fighting over Asa and Yoru this time. Now Asa apparently has a power called Break that she uses, which allows her to destroy any objects she wishes. But Yoru, whatever the power Yoru has, is not manifested yet. And Dara explains that Yoru's mother was a hiker who basically got lost and accidentally got into the village. So Yoru's mother was an outsider. And so Yoru's group settles in Gintama Prefecture. And so they're trying to get used to the modern world. And so he wants to find Asa to figure out what happened to his parents. And so then that leads to like the next episode. So right now, everyone's trying to settle down in the like in I guess their new surroundings. And so basically then yeah. So Asa does some training, while Gambi like recovers. So one thing that happens interesting, I guess, is that so there's like some lady being stalked, and then a daemon like eats the stalker. Basically, it's one of the Kagomori guys who's involved with the village attack. Was I guess was hired or something to deal with that stalker. And so Hannah has a pair of like daemons who I guess serve her, and they look like animals. Yeah. So and so you have it with this. So what happens here is that so Yoru like learns where like I guess the so Jin, who's a Kagura guy who went after the stalker, he's told to go after the search for Yoru. Now he doesn't know what Yoru looks like because he never saw him. So like Asa, Gambi, each try to draw a picture, and then someone else tries to draw a picture, and basically I guess he doesn't really have a I guess idea what he looks like because I guess the drawings aren't good enough to show him what um Yoru looks like. So, but Yoru left and right find Jin and two other Kagomori guys, and then Yoru sees like what appears to be Asa, so he jumps out, but he's trapped. It's revealed that it's a fake Asa, basically, and Jin assumes deduces that since Yoru reacted as he did, we saw Asa, he must be yours. So then left and right attack, and Yoru's able to escape, and he's able to like capture Jin, basically hold him hostage. So the other like Kagomori guys have to stand down, and Yoru says he wants to talk with Asa. Of course, he wants to figure out, why the village was attacked, what happened, to his parents, and so that's going to be a big thing, like like next week. So yeah, I thought this was you know, these were good episodes, like the dynamic between Yoru left and right, you know, we're about to learn more about the Kagomori. Because it sounds like, based on I guess whoever the head of the Kagomori is, at least at where Asa's at, looks like some Kagomori have their own selfish plans. Like some of them, like who I guess want to use Asa and Yoru for evil purposes. I guess whichever Kagomori's Asa's with is not the case. At least as far as it appears. Now that could change, but overall, I thought these were good episodes. Looking forward to the next one. Now, episodes 3 and 4. So in this one, basically it's confirmed that Nanaka it was cursed by the Byoki, during that whole accident when she was younger, basically since she was able to use the Hug and Shui the Tachi without well dying. And so and basically something like the time discrepancy between the two eras explained. So one day in the modern era, which is well, or at least whenever this takes place, which is the Reiwa era, is equals 5 days in the Taisho era. So Nanaka returns to the present she gets help from a classmate named Shiraha to research the car accident that killed her parents, using the internet. Now Shiraha basically was willing to help Nanaka because he's into Nanaka. Nanaka doesn't notice that until basically some of the like the female students who asked her to get Shiraha to help basically tell her that. So I guess I know they're trying to set him up or something. Or now Mao sets up a clinic in the shopping district to treat spirits, get intel, and it's revealed that basically he's more than 900 years old and he's trying to like heal yokai instead of just slay him. Now there's a priestess named Shoko that's interested. She leads some doomsday cult. Basically, she claims to prophesize deaths, and so you have Mal and you know Nanika like basically investigating that, and basically Mal suspects that she can manipulate that Shoko can manipulate lifespans, which is an ability that Mal believes was stolen from his master by the Byoki. Now it's hinted that there's like a or like so there was a great Kanto earthquake in 1923. So that's like an actual like earthquake that happened. So so that's like a real event. And, that was like a basically major event. Very devastating to the area. And so and then now they're investigating the cult. So and their investigations and so Shoko is basically a fraud. Like she can't really predict them. So it's real that Shoko's father forced her into scamming stuff. But the earthquake prediction was actually real. So and you have Nautica and Olivia were the ones infiltrating, and basically then so now the earthquake's about to happen. So and like and I think Shoko at least might be aware of what's go of it. And so stuff's about to go down. So yeah, I thought these were these were good episodes. Obviously you have this new Shoko introduced the cult. You know, some more lore being built up regarding the Byoki. So yeah, and it seems like Shoko is not associated with the Byoki because that's one thing Mao was looking into. But yeah, I thought these were good episodes. Looking forward to the next one. Kusunoki's Guardian of Gods, episodes 3 and 4. So in these episodes, so Seishiro visits, he wants Miyato to work for him, but Yamagami sends her to some dark dimension or to basically die a bunch repeatedly. And then there's a owner of a bun shop named Ichigo who claims that Yamagami helped him when he was like younger. And Minato knows that Ichigo seems healthier, but Yamagami claims that he's like basically deathly ill. And so basically he gave him like vitality until his grandson can like inherit the shop. Seshiro prays for forgiveness, so Yamagami lets him go. Mito claims that he misses there's like a hot spring inside I guess his hometown that he misses that. So the spirit, so Yamagami, Oreo, and Reiki make one in the Guardian in the garden. So this Kirin appears thanking Miyato for freeing him, and he's revealed to be Kirin, the third of the Heavenly Beast. And so, and basically, and Miyato doesn't accept the offer of the reward, which surprises Kirin because he assumes since humans are usually selfish that Miyato would accept the reward. And Fuji and Raijin start growing to adults due to I guess something with Miyato how he treats them. And apparently Miyato is, I guess, restraining his own like wind magic because he's concerned about hurting people. And and Miyato's mother, I guess, calls Miyato telling him that the nameplate he carved for the house for I guess the house is broken. So Yagami suggests that a guy named that Zashiki Warashi is basically telling them that the protective energy in the house has run out. And then the Martins create a dimension for Miyato to train magic without risking hurting anyone. And then Kieran, gets a durian fruit from Miyato, but Oreo and Reiki reject it because it smells. And Miyato, after doing some training, makes a nameplate that's more powerful. Then Harima discovers there's like some miasma, I guess, that's emitting the home. So, and Miyato's still trying to train his wind powers. And Kieran's still nervous around Miyato, even though he's leaving more gifts. And Harima asks Miyato to banish a cursed doll that's turned to an evil spirit. And normal exorcists can't really even approach it due to like it has its like it's within its own like extra dimensional space or whatever. And so Yamagami sends the Martins to help Miyato. And so the doll destroys Miyato's shopping list and injures the Martins, and Miyato's captured. Yamagami gives the Martins some of his power, so they're able to defeat the doll, and Miyato purifies it by writing on its face. And basically, the doll is corrupt. Is real to be whoever corrupted the doll is a former god, and so Miyato's normal writing is not powerful enough to purify a god. But there's like a sacred camphor leaf in his jacket, so you know Miyato writes on it, and the god's able to be purified, but the dimension collapses, starts to collapse. So Fujiwara helped them escape, so basically they're not, well, gone forever. So Harima thanks Miyato, and Miyato thanks the camphor for its leaf, and the god returns, having been purified. It's revealed to be Poyo the Phoenix, the fourth heavenly beast. So yeah, see these new gods, introduce new spirits, decent episodes, slice of life stuff. You know, you see a lot more, I guess, characters being brought in, more spirits. So yeah, interesting, like more of these heavenly beasts, how that's gonna play a role. So yeah, I thought these were good episodes. Looking for the next one. Michael. So this is a biopic about, the king of pop, Michael Jackson, and it covers from, his time with the Jackson 5, starting in 1966 up through like, his performance in 1988 in Wembley Stadium during the Bad Tour 1988. So yeah, so it obviously there's a lot of stuff it doesn't cover like after that. I think that's possibly going to be in the sequel. So this deals with some of the major events. Obviously, his strained relationship with his father Joseph Jackson, who basically was like abusive towards them and like towards like the kids. Now it's only shown the movie him beating well he spanks Michael with Jackson with the belt, spanking him. That was a form of punishment that used to be more common. And apparently Joseph Jackson he would only use like switches or belts. He like he didn't do like basically like and like that was basically apparently as brutal as he would get, like just belts and switches. So whatever. That's I guess the abuse part. I don't know if he just did it excessively or something, but he basically pushed like the five like oldest sons or to be at the musical band, so they could basically get a bunch of money because he was like working as like he was a steel like Joseph Jack was a steel worker, so like rough life in Gary, Indiana. Of course, they signed with Motown. The Jackson 5 signed with Motown. After a few gigs, and like they make a bunch of money, and they're able to leave Gary, Indiana, and move to Encino, California, where basically, they like obviously get the Jackson 5 get a different record deal, you know, which which that bit's not explicitly discussed outside the part of like it's not John the whole them leaving Motown's not dealt with a lot. Now, it's mentioned how Jermaine left, and that was part of what happened when when the Jackson Five left Motown, and so and when and they signed and they signed a new deal with with Epic Records, you know in 1976. Basically, Jermaine, who was married to the daughter of Motown's founder. I mean, basically, there was some, so Barry Gordy, like his daughter was Jermaine's wife, and so Jermaine stayed and basically did a solo career. And in history, basically Randy Jackson, like the youngest son, uh, not the guy from American Idol, not that guy, but basically like basically replaced Jermaine, and they're just called the Jacksons because due to copyright issues, they couldn't call themselves the Jackson Five if they were not signed with Motown. But they still do well. But you know, obviously MJ, had a lot of potential to be like a solo artist, and so his first solo album as an adult was Off the Wall. Now, in history, it was not his first. Off the Wall was not his first solo album. Like he had a few other ones, like because his first. So he had so before you know Off the Wall, he had four other solo albums. You had Got to Be There, which he released January 24th, 1972, and like and that was when they were still in Motown. He had Ben also in August 4th, 1972. So it was a solo album he did when he was still part of Jackson 5. So and Music and Me in April 13th, 1973, still in Motown. So it's like when he's like when he's like a kid, like he still does the same. Forever Michael was the last studio album, like solo album he did with Motown, and so this was when he was still like a kid. Michael Jackson was born in 1958, so he was like 16 when his last soul album with Motown was released. Like and so this goes off the wall. Like and so MJ wanted to do a lot more solo stuff. Joseph Jackson basically wanted him to still do stuff with the Jackson Five. He said, "Hey, during the whole work hour scene, he basically was like he's part of Jackson Five, but or part of the Jacksons now, but he basically like outside of like." those require, I guess, work hours as far as Joseph was concerned. What was he considered required work hours? Michael Jackson could do what he wants. If he want to do some solo stuff outside the normal business hours, that's fine with him. And so yeah, so you see like Quincy Jones helped Michael produce Off the Wall, and it's a very successful album. And so basically, Michael wants to like do like a solo tour or whatever, but like he has a big disagreement with Joe. Like there's an argument, and the other brothers are there, and so basically Michael leaves. He and his bodyguard and friend Bill Bray gives him some advice to like to go. So in 1981, Michael Jackson hires John Branca as his attorney and has him fire Joseph Jackson um, through fax, so not to his face. And Michael had some insecurity about his appearance, like so like his nose. He considers his nose to be too big, where so he does a rhinoplasty to make his nose smaller because he had like basically like he wanted to be perfect because his father pushed him and his siblings to be like perfect or whatever. So and yeah, so he shrinks his nose, and Michael Jackson does a lot of like charity work, visiting like children's hospitals, and he tries to figure out ideas for the next episode. So you see like the development of Thriller, how when he was dealing with the music video for Beat It, the song Beat It was heavily inspired, some of the gang violence that he saw when he was like a kid. And of course, he had the Crips and Blood stuff going on at the time, and in the video you had Crips and Bloods actually being involved in the production. It was kind of like a way for there to be some peace between the two factions, and that gang war is like still going on. And of course, the album's named Thriller, which in the movie, at least MJ came with the title due to like horror seeing horror films on TV. And you have Billie Jean, Thriller, and you see like the process of like the music video for Thriller being filmed because MJ wanted them to be kind of like short films because you see in a lot of his music videos you see there's like a lot of dialogue stuff, so there are some of those music videos are actually really long, like they're like 13 minutes or whatever, even though the songs are definitely not that, they're a lot shorter than that. So you see, like basically, that's why there's that high production quality in a lot of MJ's videos. With Thriller having one, the best production quality, like production qualities in any music video. And Michael and Bronca convinced CBS Records president Walter Yetnikoff to get MTV to play Michael's music videos. Basically, he does it by threatening to like pull all of CBS Records' music off of the network. And this is back when MTV was actually about music. You know, a better time because yeah, it's not. Of course, MTV is not about music, and that still pisses me off. It's just a bunch of retards getting drunk now. Like that's all MTV is now. Like you don't even have Beavis and Butthead on there anymore. Like yeah. And so, you have, where Joseph was meeting with, Don King to do a reunion tour for the Jackson. It's called the Victory Tour. And, King offers just to get PepsiCo to sponsor it. Of course, that leads to, the third Michael getting third degree burns during like a pyrotechnics accident during rehearsal. Gets nerve damage, third degree burns. And so, he's able to get some, you know, settlement money from PepsiCo. And, basically donates it to like the hospital. Now in the movie, it says specifically the burn center, but I think in history it was the hospital as a whole. He did he donated to. Not, I don't think it was just the burn center. I could be wrong, but I think it was like the hospital. And he was there, cheering up some of the kids because basically he tried to have good interactions with his fans. And you see like the various animals he purchased, and all like the like how basically he was still like he had a very childlike mentality. I would due to the fact I would say because he never had a real childhood. Because compared to the other members of Jackson Five, he was like the youngest one. Like that original, like they were all like older, so they had more regular childhoods than he did. He was basically a star since he was like a little kid. He was like 7 or 8. When he basically got famous, and so he never had a real childhood. So that's kind of why his personality was the way it was back then. And so Michael Jackson, of course, he recovers, and he basically Michael severs ties with Joseph by saying that the final show of Dodger Stand being the last time the Jacksons will perform together. And of course, the movie ends with him at Wembley. And yeah, so I thought this was pretty good. Like obviously, you have a few historical inaccuracies here and there. Like, because I think Bubbles the monkey, he didn't get that till after Thriller released, and in the movie it shows him getting it before Bubbles before. Now you see like the giraffe, the llama, the snake. Why he has a snake, I don't know. I don't know how in the world he's able to get all those animals. Like, yeah, and yeah, and so the actor, so Jafar Jackson, who's like MJ's nephew, he's the son of Jermaine. So yeah, basically, yeah, so and and then basically like so Jermaine, he's the nephew, and he does a good job playing Michael Jackson. Coleman Domingo is great as Joseph Jackson. Long's good as Catherine Scrooge Jackson. Who is Michael Jackson's mother, who's actually still alive. Like, and of course whichever siblings they were able to put in, because there were some siblings I guess they like for some reasons I guess couldn't show, where it was like some agreements they had to make with the fan, because I guess think some members may not have wanted to be involved with it. I don't know. There were some negotiations that had to happen with the family, because you also had like the allegations made against Michael Jackson, and like where basically all references to those allegations had to be removed due to like the NDA agreements, and basically they didn't want to like they didn't want to risk causing any legal, because you had the NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, and there was concerns that the movie by going in, if they went into the allegations, that there would be like legal concerns with that. So basically that's why they had to refilm the third act in order to like get rid of the references to it. And you know I don't know enough about the accusations to say like to give like an informed opinion about them in the first place. I don't know enough. There's a lot, like I am not aware enough, like I don't know enough about those to give an informed opinion. Like because look, I think Michael Jackson definitely was a little weird. I think a lot of that had to do with him being a child star, and child stars are usually weird in general. And a lot of students these days don't have normal childhoods. But like but I don't know enough to say whether or not he was what he was accused of. And yeah, so yeah, I thought this was a good movie. I thought it was good. What they included, like, it was very good. Like the actors do very well, and the critics like. You would think this is a movie critics would like, you would think, but the critics give it negative reviews, and they basically their criticism is like, look, yeah, you want Christopher, I guess, not go into the entirety of his career. That's fair, but his career was so long. You honestly would need multiple movies, or you would need a freaking TV show to cover it all. And they said criticize for leaving out the stuff about the allegations. Well, the legal reasons actually make it make sense to why they left it out. But yeah, so Meyer criticism about historical some Meyer historical inaccuracies, but like overall, I thought this was a very good movie. I like that they actually let the music be prominent. Boz Luhrmann, the guy who directed the Elvis movie, should take some notes because he didn't let Elvis's music be prominent in that Elvis movie, from a few years back. Like he didn't, and that's like the only one I'm aware of. 'Cause, I mean, I saw Bohemian Rhapsody. Queen music was definitely prominent in that. You know, I did not see Rocket Man, so I don't know how prominent Elton John's music was in it. I mean, I would assume it was, but it's like, yeah, Bob Dylan, his music was prominent. I mean, that movie had its own issues, you know, and yeah, so this movie let the music be prominent as it should have. It's a biopic about a famous singer. You don't leave the music out. That is just a fact. And like that's what should have been more about the music, because I mean that is what most people care about. People are going to see this movie are going to care about the music the most. Like where that's what it is. It's a biopic about a famous singer. The music is what's going to matter the most. So the music has to be prominent, and it was, and it used the music very well, unlike Elvis. Like I'm still pissed that they put rap music, pop music, random covers in an Elvis movie. I'm like, just use Elvis Presley music, you freaking retards. Gosh, yeah. But yeah, I thought this was a very good movie. I recommend watching it. And that's it. Did y'all like the stuff I reviewed? And if you have your own opinions about all that, you can put all that in the comments. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and all that. And look forward to the next video.